Welcome to the Esther Lures YouTube channel, where I use the space to encourage you to be the best version of yourself, to be your ultimate self. But that takes work, right? And so I am here today just sharing with you a video that I recorded recently. Lots of things are happening in the world around us, in our personal lives. And so I hope that you are taking time to love on yourself, to serve yourself, to connect with God and find opportunities to serve others. There's so many things that are happening that we can try to help others, right? The fire that's happening in California, that is a type of loss that nobody ever wants to find themselves in. So growing up in Jamaica, fire, that was something that I was afraid of. Like literally, there was one evening I came home from school and the transformer on the light post burst and the wires were on fire. And I vividly remember me screaming on the veranda, oh my gosh, Mega did, Mega did. I've always had a fear of fire. My heart goes out to those individuals who have lost so much that they've worked for. And if there's any way that you can help, if you're watching and you're not one of those unfortunate people, see how you can help. I am going to take this time to like purge, right? Sometimes we hold on to things, people, and we're afraid to let them go. But then sometimes God just purposefully remove them and we have no control over whether or not they go. And so use those, put yourself in that mindset to say, you know what? I can let go of this, right? If something unfortunate were to happen and I had no choice but to run out of my house and leave it, just put yourself in that mindset. What would you do? So if that could happen and you will be quite fine, as long as you have your life, then why not do away with it, right? Somebody else might be able to use it and make better use of it, especially for clothes and household furniture, household items that you may have that you haven't used in a while, right? Why not give it to someone else? I hope your new year is off to a great start. I did post something on my Instagram recently. It's a worksheet from my book, My Ultimate Self, How Death Became My Motivator, and it's called Make Each Day Count. And that activity came out of attending my coworker's funeral. So my coworker is mentioned in my book. She's one of the people that I talked about losing in the first part of the book. And so the pastor at her funeral, the theme was Make Each Day Count. And so that activity gives you a way to track your habits, anything that you want to work on, right? There's research that says it takes 21 days to form a habit or to, stop doing something. You can check off each day that you work on something. If it doesn't work, start over, but to be mindful of what is it that you want to do, what you want to work on, because we should always be in a space of continually growing. So if you want a copy of it, feel free, DM me, and I will share it with you. In this session, I am going to talk about the certain way to be successful in 2025. So there is a certain way to gain success. You know yourself, right? And you can look at a successful person and tell that they have a certain way of doing things, some certain techniques and processes, and certain routines that they use to get to where they are or where they're planning on going. And so it is very important that you do the same thing. Develop your certain way of whatever it is that you're desiring to achieve. And so in this video, I am just going to share a few tips and techniques that I've used over the years, always with a focus on loss. How do you overcome loss? But not loss in the sense of just death, right? Just loss in general. How do you get past loss and get to that place of growth, of grace, of being hopeful and happy? And yes, it is the new year. And yes, it's just another day, right? 2025 started and it's just another day with all of the same challenges, the same issues that may have happened in 2024, but you are being more mindful. Normally, that's what happened at the very start of the year. And then, people change. As the year progresses, you forget about it and you're back to your old routines. But we want to make 2025 different. We want to make 2025 the year that you become your ultimate self, that you really take focus on the things that you need to do to get you to that level of success where you feel that, you've made some strides. As I was thinking about what is it that I wanted to say, I know one of them was a post that I made recently. And I was just thinking about a few things that were happening in my life. And I came to the conclusion that it's okay to prepare for a loss. If you know you're in a relationship that's not working, you're in a partnership that's not working, it's okay to let it go. It's okay to prepare yourself for that moment when you come to that conclusion, where you speak up, where you tell that person, where you separate, right? So you prepare for that moment and knowing that after that separation, after that loss happens, that something else is waiting for you. That there might be something better. It could be worse, hopefully not, right? But you're going to look forward to that new thing that's going to happen. Just as how we looked forward to 2025, we're going to look forward to the new year and what it offers. It's okay to prepare for losing something that you value, that you cherish. But, it's best that you let that thing go. And so prepare and be hopeful and mindful that things will get better. When relationships end or when things fall apart, you have to be the bigger person to one, be willing to acknowledge the role you played in getting to that place, right? So that acceptance phase. Be willing to acknowledge the role you played in the relationship ending, right? Hold yourself accountable so that you can learn from any mistakes that you made. And the other key point is while you're holding yourself accountable, be willing to apologize, be willing to accept the faults that you caused in the relationship ending. So it's not always somebody else, right? What role did you play? And as you're growing, you have to be willing to get to that place to acknowledge where you went wrong. When you think about the things that you want to do in the future, right? There was a scenario. I was driving with my son. They were getting ready to prepare the road for the snow that was coming, and they were spraying, the road. And I could have waited. I passed it, and when I parked, I saw all this white residue on my car. And so my son was like, Was it worth it? And I decided to add that to my message, like, whatever it is that you're thinking about doing in the future, like, look back at it and ask yourself, was it worth it? Like, do some future casting of yourself. If you plan to do something, look at yourself in the future and look back at yourself now and, answer that question. Was it worth it for you to do this today? And if it's not worth it in the future, then don't. My daughter recently published her song that she wrote in her junior year of high school. It's Watergate. And I am so proud of her. When I listen to it, I'm like, how did she think of this stuff? How did she write these lyrics and produce the audio track to go with it? Like, who is this child? Anyway, so there is a point in there where it says, why did I record them in the first place, bro? if you're going to look back, right, just like, was it worth it? Look in the future at something that you're going to do now. And if you have to ask yourself, like, why did I do this in the first place? Then don't do it. Don't do it in the first place. So, yeah, my daughter's track, Alyssa Lures, Watergate, got me some insights for that one. So I spoke about the certain way because one of my favorite book is The Science of Getting Rich. And let's see, another one, As a Man Thinketh, Think and Grow Rich. So all of those books were sort of written around the same time and have the same premise, right? And so the certain way talks about um, the way to riches, right? And that certain way, you might think it has to do with, okay, there's a certain way that you invest, there's a certain way that you make money, but it's some basic concepts. And the certain way, one of them is just being grateful, being purposeful, being grateful, having that set vision, right? And having your purpose always in mind. And that's going to take me to my second point is to identify what your values are and what you're passionate about. And when you look at your life, like, what are those things that you feel strongly about? Sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, what am I? I'm not really sure if I'm really passionate about anything. But within the last couple of years, okay, my focus on loss, I've always had interest in technology based on my skills and education and my career. And I love to create things. I am the person who have been teaching myself how to use like all the Photoshops from back in the days, right? Photoshop 5.5 and coming up to know the creative suites, Adobe Creative Suite. So I love being creative and I love to use my godlike creative energy to just take something from nothing and create something beautiful. And so when I think about my mother, right, she is so passionate about her Catholic faith and Mary and Jesus. And I'm like, I would love to have that same passion and zeal for something. And so I think it's very important that as you figure out who you are and what you're about and your purpose, that you truly get to that place where you are like passionate about something and nobody can tell you anything. Like you are willing to walk up to somebody and say, like, listen, this is what you need to do because XYZ, right? So what are you passionate about? What are you so driven about that you fully commit to it and you value that thing? And so you're going to do everything that's necessary to make sure that you're spreading that message. So be willing to let go of things that you value and look forward to new opportunities and new people and new experiences. And then identify the things in your life that you truly value. Be passionate, be willing to let go. Ask yourself if it's worth it. And then another major thing is to always, always, always love yourself. Wherever you are, whatever you're going through, love you. Like I had to learn that the hard way in relationships. I'm the person that was seeking and wanting, this person to love me and, because I felt I'm love worthy. But you have to be mindful that everybody comes in a relationship at different points and you can't just be expecting somebody to love you when you don't love yourself. You have to love yourself. Love yourself first. And then somebody else's love is just like icing on the top. You're going to expect the person you're with to love you, but you're not going to demand their love. You are who you are. And so You expect love. You expect, whether it's verbally expressed or not, you just know, right? You just know that you are loved. So why wouldn't they not love you? And if they don't, that's fine too. Anyway, so love yourself. You can't expect someone to love you if you don't love yourself. Love others, and I've mentioned this before. Once you love yourself, it just automatically becomes a thing where you love others. You just overflow with love, where it's just naturally you love and care about people. You love God, and loving God gives you that, it just opens you up to love yourself more. I am the person who loves and commits. I commit to something and I just don't know how to stop and how to let go, to my own detriment, right? So even when it started go bad, I'm just holding on. I think Les Brown gave a story about this lady who was dog sitting for a friend, and the dog started to run, and the lady hold on the dog, and the dog drag her, and she just hold on the dog, and then the guy, and when the person came back, and she tell the person what happened, and he was like, "Why didn't you just let go? Just let go of the dog, right? He would have eventually come back to where he was." Sometimes we're going through things and we're just holding on to them for their life, even when they're like stabbing us in the side. We just have to let go of things. And so I've held on to things. And because I've held on to things, I've also, participated in some actions that weren't becoming. And through those lessons that I've learned, I just want to share with you the importance of, loving yourself, loving God, loving others, and acting on the things that you know that are best for you. So the things that are best for me was losing weight. So I would walk in the park every weekend. I have a hard time getting up out of bed during the week. So I haven't gotten to that place of getting up early and exercising as I should. But every weekend, I would make it my point of duty to go walk in the park. And during my walks, I would take my pictures. And some of those pictures are in my book. Watching what I eat, I've somehow gotten a little lax on that sometimes, but lost the weight, over 30 pounds, and I've kept it off. I lost some weight back in like 2016, and that weight came back. And so I am very proud of myself that the weight that I've lost over the last 3 years, I've kept it off. And I am just mindful of what I eat, even though sometimes I do indulge. I'll eat sweets, I'll eat a burger. It's not like an everyday thing. And then there are days, I'll just have like salad or soup. Or when I'm ready, go get my curry goods. Be ready to be your best self at all times. Just as though you're going to be passionate about something, like just always be in that mode of being your best self, being your ultimate self. But yeah, it's my shirt, my ultimate self. You want to be your best self at all times. Another thing that I came across was the Hamilton soundtrack, sort of aligned to my daughter because she's the person that introduced me to Hamilton. We went and saw the Broadway. There's a song, and a part of it says, "That would be enough." Being at a place where you are grateful for where you are, you're content, you have goals and aspirations, but you're content with where you are right now. And you love and admire the people in your life and your partner. And as long as you have them with you, you're okay, right? Where it would be enough to not have the big car and the big house. As long as you just have that person with you, you just have that person, right? And I got a little emotional when I heard that song the other night because I'm like, after getting a divorce, after 15, 16 years of marriage, it's like I want that person where it would be enough to just be with someone and you don't have to worry. Like God just sends that person for you, and that person is out there. So yeah, don't worry yourself. To all my single mothers, divorced mothers who are out there who are going through it, and I've spoken to a few of you. Like it's okay. Your person will show up. So don't beat yourself up. Don't feel as if you missed out or you lost or things that aren't going to work out. It would all work out. I have to go back to the whole notion of loss and bring up some, the current event of things that are happening around us. And so I just want to send condolences to all the people in Louisiana that were impacted by the, tragic event that happened. I want to send condolences to our past president that passed away at 100 years old, President Carter. Condolences to the people in California who are going through such tragedy, right? We on the East Coast, we're complaining of this bitter cold, but I would prefer the cold any day than to go through what's happening over there. And so my heart goes out to all those people that are impacted by the fire. Condolences to those who um, died in the Mount Everest earthquake that happened recently. Condolences. There was a plane crash. And so, as we celebrate the newness of the new year, we just have to know that life continues, right? Life has no timestamp. It's just a cycle of days and nights, and it just continues and things happen. And so, the reason why I write my book is to encourage you to do everything that you have to do right now because we never know when those tragedies are going to come our way. And we want to make sure that before anything happens, that you live your life, that you do, that you act. And so my framework that I've been sharing is just one tool, right? There's so many people that have created tools and strategies and frameworks out there, but this is just something that I came up with. And so take action. Whatever you want to do, take action. Connect with people, connect with your peers, ask, research, realize where you are. Then do your reflection and become aware and make a decision and take action. And you'll get to your results. There is no one who has ever taken action that does not eventually get to their results if they continually and consistently keep at it. You might not get there in the time that you project, but if you keep acting, you will get there. And so, happy new year again. Continue to be your ultimate self, continue to be your best. Be okay with losing, letting go, and knowing that God has your back and there is more and better always ahead. Figure out what your passions are, what your purpose, what are the things that you value, and be okay with letting go some of those passions and values as well. And as you are planning on acting and taking action, make sure that whatever it is that you have planned, that it's worth it. Don't be in that space of having any regrets like, why did I do this in the first place, right? We've had those moments. And so we want to not repeat actions and we want to just make sure that we're in a positive light, that we're grateful, that we love ourselves, that we love our family, that we love others, that we love God. And we continue to send light and love to those who are in the less fortunate positions than we are in this time and moment. And may God guide and protect our steps to prevent us from experiencing any hardships as we go throughout this year and beyond. And may your days and your nights be awesome. May you continue to be your ultimate self, your best self every day. Thank you for watching the Esther Lures YouTube channel. Connect with me on social media at Esther Lures on all major platforms. You can also find me at my website, estherlures.com. Be blessed, be well, and continue to be your ultimate self.